In this beginner piano lesson, we're going to go from the right hand C position on page 12 all the way over to the Ode to Joy from Ludwig van Beethoven Symphony No. 9, and then we'll talk about writing the G treble clef. So we have a lot to do in this lesson, so let's get started. Over here you can see I have our agenda. We're going to begin on page 10. We'll review and take a look at some hand stretching exercises. Then we'll go to page 12, which is our review with our right hand in C position. We started that in our last lesson. We'll do a review of that today. Then we get on to page 13 with the quarter note and half note, and then we'll move on to the Ode to Joy, and then we'll talk about the treble clef. Okay, so how about I sit myself down here, and I'm going to go ahead and start my timer so that I don't go overboard or over time. All right, so we have 30 minutes or less to get everything accomplished here. So have your all-in-one course open, and let's go right to page 10. So at the top of page 10 here, we went over this a little bit with in our primer lesson, that if you haven't watched that primer lesson, go ahead back and I'll put the link of that at the end here. So on page 10 at the very top, okay, we are instructed to put our hands together and then just gently pull back so that we get a nice curve of our fingers. Okay, now for this we're going to start pressing in on our third finger. So press your third finger and then release the pressure. Let's do our second finger, and then release the pressure. And then our thumb, remember our thumb is finger number 1, so press in and release. Okay, now let's go to our fourth finger, which is our ring finger, right? So we're going to press and release. And then now we're at our pinky, press and release. And the other thing I like to do while we're at this is to go ahead, press, let's start with our third finger. So press in on the third finger and then lift up on the third finger all the way out and then back down. Okay, let's do that with our second finger. Remember, that's our index finger. So press and then lift up and all the way back down. Okay, and then our thumb, go ahead and press in on your thumb, lift up on your thumb, and then bring that back out. Okay, you can have your hands like this. I'm just kind of showing you what I'm doing here. All right, let's go to our ring finger. So we're going to press and bring that back out. And then let's do our pinkies. Press your pinkies together and then bring that back up. Okay? And then shake that out vigorously. And at the bottom, go ahead and read through all this. I'm not going to take too much more time, but go ahead and do your little hand massage. Make your hand feel good there. All right. So let's get on to page 12 here. Go ahead and turn the page. Page 12. On page 11, it talks about curved fingers, and you do see at the bottom, keep fingernails reasonably short. Talked about that in the last lesson. It is impossible to curve fingers properly with long fingernails. So you're going to have to, you come to that realization, you need to keep those fingernails fairly short in order to play the piano properly. Right hand C position. All right, so now I'm on page 12. Let's go to the bottom. We talked about the notes of the C position. Let me get my overhead on here. And we also talked last time about how to find middle C. So again, middle C, if you find the two black keys right in the center, and the name of the piano is probably right in here somewhere. If you have an acoustic piano, you'll see the name of the piano. In here, I have a word called transpose that we'll talk about what transpose means in a little while. But anyway, so I have my two black keys, and then the note right here is middle C. Okay, so there's middle C, and we need to have our thumb there, and that brings our second finger on D, our third finger on E, our fourth finger is now on F, and our fifth finger is now on G. Okay, so go ahead and make sure your hand is in position such as this. This is what it needs to look like from the side view. Okay, when I play, it looks like this. All right, let me change my view again, and we'll start here. Okay, so starting with middle C, thumb, I'm looking at the first exercise at the bottom of page 12. Again, let's take this nice and slow, reviewing from what we did last week. Okay, so here we go. Starting on C, go. C, D, E, F, G, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, shake it out, relax. Okay, let's do that one more time. Okay, starting on C. Here we go. 2, ready, go. C, D, E, F, G, C, D, E, F, G. All right, now the next one below that, we're starting with G. Okay, and we start at the top, and we're going to go all the way down to C. Okay, with me. 1, 2, ready, start on G, and G, E, C, G, F, E, D, C. Yeah. All right, let's do that one again. I'll slow it down a little bit. We might be getting a little bit too fast, okay? So slow it down just a bit. 1, 2, start with your pinky on G, go. G, F, E, D, C. Back to G, F, E, D. Yeah. All right, go ahead and shake it out. Let's go to the very bottom one on the page, starting with C. This one goes up to G, repeats, and comes back down. Okay, here we go. 2, ready, play. G, F, E, D, C. Nice. One more time, go. C, D, E, F, G, G, F, E, C. All right, how are you making out? Okay, again, go back, if necessary, in the video and practice that again. There's really no rush for any of this. All right, so let's go on to page 13, and we'll talk about page 13 and the rhythms on there and so forth. Okay, so music is made up of short tones and long tones. We write these tones in notes, and we measure their lengths by counting. The combining of the notes into patterns is called rhythm. Okay, so that's really just kind of a simplistic explanation there. Quarter note is a short note, and half note is a long note. And that, of course, is all relative, because a quarter note can be a long note relative to other notes, such as eighth notes and 16th notes, and a half note could be shorter, depending on, if we're playing with whole notes and so forth. So a quarter note gets 1 beat, and a half note gets 2 beats. So how about we go to the board now? I have this exact rhythm up here on the board. And I have it written out just a little bit differently than you see it, because I had to make it into 2 lines here. Of course, I have a staff here, so I needed to put these notes on the staff. So up here we have E's, and when we get to measures 3 and 4, we're actually on G's here. So it's just kind of the way I wrote it for now, which is kind of replicating what you see on your page there. So we're actually going to read from here and then continue on down here. Okay, so in your first measure that you see in your book, we have 4 quarter notes, or we have 4 tas. We're going to count tas as well, if you remember back in our primer lesson. And then we come across here and we have this one here. This is the half note, and that gets 2 beats. All right, so let's label how we're going to count these. I will demonstrate for you, and then we'll do it together. Okay, so let's start off first with tas. So up here we begin with ta, 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 ta. So these get one beat, so ta, 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 ta. And our beat is here. Listen to that again. Ta, 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 ta. And then we have a bar line. And our bar line separates our music into measures. So this is a measure. I sometimes refer to it as a box of music. Okay, so this is a measure, and this is a measure. And we separate our measures by these bar lines here. And you can see the bar line that's in your music there. Okay, so let's go over to here. We're going to call this a ta as well, ta. And this, we're going to say ta, ah. Okay, so it's kind of an interesting way to say the half note there. So here we have ta, ta, ta. When we clap a half note, we create the shape of the note itself. So let me clap this rhythm for you. Ta, ta, ta. All right, so you're just kind of creating that really round shape of the note. I will clap this whole first measure for you, and then we'll do it together, all right? And I'm going to say the tas as I go. I'm going to start right here. And ta, 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 ta. Okay? 2 beats for that, right? 2 beats. Moving down here, same thing. And I'm not going to label them. How about I don't label them? These are all tas, and then we have half notes here. All right? Here we go. 2. Ready and go. Ta, 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 ta. All right. Now, I did forget to have you clap the whole thing, or this first line with me, and the second line. How about we clap through all of it together? Okay? Say your tas and your tas. I'm going to point so that you know exactly where you are, but I would like for you to be sure that you are clapping, that you're tapping, you can, pat on your lap, some sort of physical motion or movement so that you're feeling the rhythm here. You're feeling what you're doing. So you're saying it and you're doing it. All right, here we go. Starting with tas. 2. Ready and go. Ta, 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 ta. You with me? All right. So, before we move off of this, I'm going to write in the counts. So I don't see a time signature there, but that's okay. We're going to put the counts in anyway. Right now we have 4 beats in each one of these measures. Not 4 notes, but 4 beats. Okay, here's the beat. The beat doesn't change. Doesn't get faster, doesn't get slower. Now we can make it faster or slower, but we're going to keep it nice and steady. We call that the steady beat. Okay? All right. And I'm going to mark, this is beat number 1, this is 2, beat 3, beat 4. We start again at beat number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, remember that half note gets 2 full beats. And down here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? All right, so when we clap, this time, let's count as we're clapping. Okay? A ta gets the entire beat. Okay? Or a quarter note. A quarter note and a ta, the same thing, gets the entire beat. All right, here we go. 1, 2, ready and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is kind of hard to hold out a half note for 2 beats, when we're clapping because you don't hear the sound. But when you played on the piano, you hear that the note sustains. Okay, so that's what we mean by holding it for 2 beats or 2 counts. All right, now this time, how about you look in your book and clap along looking at what you have in your book. I'll still be pointing it out up here on the board. And here we go. 1, 2, ready and go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, how are you making out? Let me know if any of this is not making sense. Let me know if some of it is making sense. All right? Always leave a question down below. Okay, so we remember that the notes live and like to hang out on the staff. Okay, and the staff is a set of 5 lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the treble clef, which we're working in right now with the right hand, essentially is where all the higher notes on the piano are and where our right hand normally plays. So in order to help ourselves, we use our hand staff. And our hand staff is created by taking our hand off of the staff there and bringing it over. And now we have what we call the hand staff. This is line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, line 5. Okay, just like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the staff. And in between the lines we have spaces. So this is space 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like we have spaces 1, 2, 3, 4 on the staff. All right, so to help us remember the names of the lines and spaces, I like to say, every good boy does fine. And I'm using my right hand here, yes, my left hand, but your right hand, because this is the hand that's playing in the treble clef. All right, let's say that together. Every good boy does fine. One more time, this time make sure you're looking at your hand. Ready and go. Every good boy does fine. All right, now let's do those spaces. In the spaces, we have the letters F, A, C, E, and that spells face. We can say face in the space. All right, so starting down here, F, A, C, E, face in the space. Okay, so I wanted to go over that before we get to our Ode to Joy, because we have a lot of notes in this piece. They're going kind of different directions. This is our first real big piece that we're working on. It's going to really demand a lot of attention. All right, so let's get to the Ode to Joy. Looking at this piece, we can clap through it. We can sing with, we'll sing as we're playing. And we can play and count. We can play and sing. And I would like for you to do that on your own when you're practicing. We'll do the same thing that we did on the board. You can clap it out. You can tap it, pat it on your lap, however you want to do that. However, but right now, I want to get to working out the fingering. So we find, first off, we're going to find our 2 black keys in the middle of the keyboard. And then just to the right of this one here is the E. The E that we'll be starting on. Okay, so there's our E. Middle C is over here. There's our middle C. We'll get to that in measure 3 of this piece. Okay, so we begin with E with our 3rd finger, and we have 2 E's in a row. So okay, Let's play that much together, starting with E. Go. All right. Now, I'm going to go on, I'll play through the entire piece. This might be a little bit much for you right now. You might need to take some time practicing that, or practicing this piece. And if that means practicing one measure at a time, practicing two measures at a time, then practicing the first line, and then moving on to the second line. Look for parts of this, look for different measures that are exactly the same. For instance, the first measure and the second measure of the second line are exactly the same as the first measure and second measure of the first line. And the third measure of each line is exactly the same. And the fourth measure is a little bit different. Okay, rhythm is the same, but the pitches are different, the notes are different. Okay, so once you learn that first line, you almost have the entire piece. You're in good shape with the entire piece. Okay, so here I go. I'm going to keep it nice and slow. So if you can play with me, great. If not, practice, and then come back to this part of the video and play along with me. Ready? Here we go. E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, E, D, D. Next line. E, E, F, G, G, F, E, D, C, C, D, E, D, C, C. And remember to give that last note 2 beats, because it's a half note. How'd you do? Let me know how you did down below. If you didn't stay with me, that's fine. Listening also is a great thing to do in music, because that's what music is. All right, let's do it one more time before we turn the page. One more time. Let's see where we are with our, we're running a little bit short on time. Okay, find your E right next to the 2 black keys, to the right of the 2 black keys, and here we go. 1, 2, keep your fingers curved, fingertips, go. G, F, C, C. 4, next line. Okay, great. Let me know how you're doing with that. I will create a separate video with me playing that, and I'll add some accompaniment as well. I don't want to put that in this video. It's going to get a little bit long, but I will create a separate video with Ode to Joy in it. Turn the page. Turn the page. Okay. The treble clef sign. We spoke about this a little bit already. So again, the treble clef essentially means, for now, that we're playing in the treble part of the piano. The treble part, meaning the higher pitches or the higher range on the piano, or any instrument, quite frankly. And then when we get to it, bass clef will tell us that we're playing the lower notes on the piano, or essentially with our left hand. For now, okay. At some point we'll get to where we are able to play, hands crossing over. We'll have both hands in the treble, both hands in the bass. For now, the right hand plays in the treble clef. All right. So at the top of the page, the treble clef locates the G above the middle C of the keyboard. This sign came from the letter G from long ago in a land far, far away. All right. And then they have us drawing, and this could be part of your homework. You can draw right into your book, trace these treble clef signs. But I'm going to show you, I think, an easier way to draw the treble clef sign. And then at the bottom, we're going to do some writing in notes. So let's go back to the board up here. So again, the G line goes right through the G treble clef. Okay, and I like to say, long ago in a land far, far away, a G looks something like this. And we started out with a line here, and then we started adding this line, that line, and so on. So I'm not exactly sure the whole history of the staff, but I think it started out something like that. They kind of added lines as time went on, as they started notating music more and more. So let's talk about how to write a G treble clef that is maybe a little bit easier than what you see in the book there. Okay, so page 14, this will be part of your homework. When I draw a G treble clef, I start with a straight line all the way down and then just go back like that. All right, and if you have your paper with you, you can do this with me. All right, so I'll draw it again over here and go back. All right, now for this part up here, I'm just going to bring this around like that. All right, so now I have like this really narrow petite P looking thing up here. All right, I will leave that there for you as well. All right, and then let's show you the next step. So we have that, we have this. All right, now from this is where I'm going to create all this over here. I'm going to bring it down, circle around, and I'll stop right on that G line. All right, let's see if I can do this under pressure here. Around, up, and stop. Hey, not bad, huh? Not bad. So we start, line up here, kick it back a little bit, and that'll represent this little guy here. Then we add this in here. That's what we're doing over here. And then we just finish it off, circling around, stopping right there on the G line. So if we were to do it kind of quickly here or up the speed, we'll look something like this. Down, bring around, try to be neat. Bam! Pretty good, huh? All right. So in number 2 on page 14, practice drawing your G treble clef. I honestly have never, as far as I can remember, in my college and post-college career, have I tried to draw a G treble clef the way they have it in the book here. It's too difficult to draw it that way and gets really messy, and you don't need to draw it like that. So I suggest you take the steps that I have up here on the board and practice this in number 2 there. All right? I'll let you take a look at that. Maybe you can take a screenshot of that little bit. All right. So let's get back to the bottom of the page here. The notes of the right hand C position are written on the treble staff. Middle C is written on a short line below the staff called a ledger line. So we use ledger lines when we run out of lines on the staff. Once we go below and we run out of lines, we have to start adding our own lines in there. It's kind of like bring your own line, right? D is written in the space below the staff, which is just one step above C. Each next higher note is on the next higher line or space. All right, so your homework for this is to, actually, how about we do this? Let's do number 4 together. I'll go ahead and put all the notes on the board. And then your homework for this lesson time will be to finish all the notes on page 15. Okay? And I'll talk a little bit more about your homework because we need to move on to the left hand as well. All right? So on the board, give me a second here. I'll do some erasing, and then we'll write in the notes, the names in the notes. All right, my alarm just went off, so that means we're just about out of time here. Let's go ahead and name these notes, and then we'll go over the homework that we have for this week, and I'll let you go get to work. All right, so our first note down here, remember that E is this bottom line, and the letter in the alphabet just before E right in here is the note D. So we need to go down one more space, or I'm sorry, one more line here. D is here, This is C. All right. So C, and then this line, or this note here just below the bottom line, D. The first line is E, because we remember every good boy does fine. And now we need to remember F, A, C, E, face in the space. That note there is F. Okay, second line, every boy does fine. Every good, that is a G. Thank you. Now we're coming back down. This note here we've already done. Yep, that's your F. Over here, every good boy, E. Thank you. Just before E, the note just below E is D. And then the note just below D is C. So remember, when you're going down in the staff, down, you have to go backwards in the alphabet. When you go up in the staff, you're going essentially alphabetical, all the way up to the note G. And then, of course, the music alphabet starts again at A. Okay, so make sure you have these notes here written in at the bottom of your page 14. All right, again, I'll give you a second to either screenshot that or make sure you get it, pause, write them in. And we need to move on and finish up. Your homework. I need for you to finish out page 15. We'll go over all of those notes the next time I see you. And then turn the page. Let's look at page 16. 16, we're looking at left hand position. I want you to look over this and to start practicing this on your own. We have the left hand C position, which means you need to find the C an octave lower. Let me show you where you're at least starting, right? So you're starting with actually your, let's see, the first note is your thumb on G, and then you're working your way down. Okay, so you're starting thumb on G. Okay, find your group of 3, and your G is here, and then you're working your way down. I'm going to let you practice that. I'm not going to play that for you right now. So that's your job to practice that. So you need to work on all of page 13. Get that Ode to Joy ready to go. Next week we're going to play it. And again, I'll create a video with some left-hand accompaniment so you can play along with that. I need for you to write treble clef signs. Remember what we had on the board here. Go back in the video, review how to create those treble clefs. The notes at the bottom of page 14 you should have filled in by now. If not, go ahead and fill them in. And then I need for you to name all the notes, lines, and spaces on page 15. It looks like there's a lot, but you'll be fine. Once you get going on them, you'll have a good time filling in them, and we'll check them all the next time I see you. And then you're looking at page 16, starting with your left hand C position, and then we'll continue working on that together on the next lesson. All right, my friends, that is it for today. Please let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Do you need clarity on anything that we've gone over? What else? Yeah, questions. Let me know a success. How are you doing? Are you finding it easier now to move your fingers? Do you have a little bit more flexibility with your fingers? Are they doing more of what you want than maybe a few weeks ago? Just let me know in the comments. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how else I can help you. And until our next video, take care and get back to practicing. Thank you for joining me here on Piano Lessons with Joel. We'll see you on the next video.